Hey everybody, welcome to Shedding Light here in the Spectrum Sanctorum. It is episode 4 of Only Murders of the Building, The White Room. We are your investigators for the day. I'm Brandon Lou, along with Captain Joe Dove. What up, Cap?
What up? I got my big magnifying glass to go over the clues and try to figure this whole mystery out. And I'm glad to be with you here in this experience.
This episode was a lot of fun. A lot of wild shenanigans happening. And also, so we have a new suspect. And I laughed hysterically because last week I had asked you who was like the least likely suspect, and I said Joy. I said I said Charles' girlfriend Joy. It's like she's my least likely candidate. And then she has an episode that seemed almost entirely focused on her being a key suspect. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Joy, what are you doing, Joy?
Yeah.
You know, you're a fish.
Threw me off.
Yeah. So she is our latest suspect. And as we've already mentioned, the episode is called The White Room. A lot of stuff going on. Let us know your feelings on the episode in the comments below. And yeah, I'm so much to talk about. How'd you feel about the episode, Joe?
A lot of fun. I learned things in this one because when I was in high school and college, I was like a grip for the theater and I did a little bit of acting. And I never heard of this phrase, the white room. So, of course, I super sleuthed it up and went online and did a little research and found out that that's a real thing. I'm over here thinking, oh, that's a really neat comedy bit. Like, I would have never thought of that. And then all of a sudden, no, that's because it's based in reality. And what I read off of the wonderful Screen Rant guys is Only Murders in the Building gets a lot of the real world elements right. This apparently continues with the white room concept, which by all accounts is a real thing in theater acting. Now, everybody should know that you yourself are a bit of a theater actor. I've seen
Yes.
you live read. Did you ever have a white room moment?
No, but I think I understand where the idea of the white room comes from. I still get the butterflies in my stomach when going to perform. A little bit of nervousness, but an excited nervousness. But I will say there's something about like when the lights go on you, and you see those lights, like you really can't see too much of the crowd
Right.
when you're performing, and so there is that white light from the spotlight just going into your eyes, and I can see it and kind of understand it. When you got those feelings bubbling up, and if you're someone who struggles with anxiety, and then the lights are on, and it's all you can see, the concept of going into, like, I think that's one of the actor's nightmare, which is something I'm more familiar with in the concept of the white room, is you're on stage and then you forget all your lines. That's the actor's nightmare.
That's scary.
I've absolutely had that dream. Like, I've never had a white room experience where I'm on stage and actually blacked out. But I've definitely had the nightmare. Even now, I haven't been on stage in some time. But I still sometimes find myself dreaming about being on stage in front of a full crowd and not knowing what my next lines are. And it is a terrifying experience. So seeing the white room explored as it is, almost when you're in it as like this serene calm, because you're not even present. So, but then when you come to alertness, just, I don't know, your pants are down, you're holding a baby by its ankle. I don't know.
That moment when he does and he starts cursing and then he just and he goes to this white room and starts painting and goes crazy. When he wakes up and he's got no pants on, everybody's like, what happened? That was the funniest. I watched that scene 3 times. I rewound it. I was like, what?
Did you find yourself trying to read his lips as they were as
Yes,
he began cursing? And
yeah, he started going off, and I'm like, "What?" And I like kept rewinding it to try to get it, and I couldn't get it. It was so funny. I love like one of my favorite comedians from childhood, Steve Martin, is here in this show, and Martin Short, and it's just perfect. And they are so fun working together. Oh my god, I laugh for hours with that, man. I'm so
Yeah, man.
happy about it.
It really oh man, this season I feel like has really given Steve Martin a lot to play with.
Yeah.
Not that he hasn't, been excellent in the other two seasons as well,
Mhm.
but like between the zaniness of the White Room, getting to do some singing, and he seems to really just be playing around a lot more this season, which is a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's struggling with a lot of anxiety in this episode. He's an older man. He's going on stage. He was a television actor, so
Right.
this is like his almost like his first. It might be his first stage experience, and the schedule might be too much for him. And now it's a musical, and on top of that, it looks like Joy is moving in,
Mhm.
and that's a
Interesting.
big move. You can't just do that,
Yeah.
or maybe you can. I kind of just moved in.
Yeah. I think
It's
I
like
did the same thing.
it's like
Oh,
yeah, yeah, but
this is nice. I'm gonna
yeah, it's like
plant my roots here.
it's like it's like my studio is actually just my girlfriend's house. Yeah, thanks COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but it can be very difficult, the moving experience, and it's been less than a week, but he's already freaking out because he's someone who represses his emotions, and they're starting to bubble out, Joe.
Oh, yeah. In a hard way. It happens twice because I thought it was brilliant, which like, oh, if I get emotion and he starts like making eggs and he gets in the motion and he gets all his lines. And
Hmm.
it was like, oh, that's perfect. And then Martin Short's, what are you doing? What? With your hands? What are you doing?
Just a little whisk. Just a little, it's like you're a detective. You're not a chef. What are you?
Oh my god. This episode was so far the best of the season I think so far.
Yeah.
I laugh so hard. He's like really getting it, but he got all his lines. And I was like, oh, perfect. Everything should be okay. And little did I know somebody else
Until
has bigger expectations. And it's like, oh, shoot.
it is a lot of fun seeing him explore this, seeing both where Joy brings anxiety to him, but also calm, because she goes and tells him, she's the one who gives him the omelet happy place idea. He's like, how to stay calm, how to relieve
Yeah.
your anxiety. You're making omelets.
Yeah.
But the thing is, she also goes and tells him that he can't keep using the omelet,
Hmm.
that it's a crutch,
Right.
and he's not going to be able to walk on his own while holding that crutch. um
She was right.
and she was absolutely right, which, even though I think Joy being the newest suspect will is yet another red herring, uh I think it's amusing to me that Charles, whether she did the murder or not, uh, uh, he does seem to find women that are genuinely helpful for him, even if they do end up stressing him out or try to kill him.
Hmm.
Uh, the Because she is great for him, and also if she is the killer, which I don't think she is.
No, I don't think so.
No, this but if she is the killer, her motive is Ben Gilroy did not get along with
Charles.
Charles,
Yeah.
and Joy threatened, is like, you leave him alone or
Right.
I will make you suffer. It's like,
Yeah.
I will get you. Is
She
and
goes to Charles.
yeah, this is all Charles's fault.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is what gives her the motive. Um, there's also the fact that when investigating the murder, they originally went to check out Cinda,
Hmm.
and not Cinda. I'm thinking of Cinda Canning. Tina Fey's character.
Oh, yeah. The other
Uh,
podcaster.
yes. But when they go to uh, check out someone else's room, Mabel stays with her, and while staying with her, I mean, while figuring that out, Steve Martin, Charles, Oliver Putnam, they go and check out Ben's room, and they find that some
Oh, yeah.
really messed up stuff is written on his mirror
Yeah.
in some lipstick, and that lipstick belongs to Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have another cookie theory for this.
Okay. You have a cookie theory for this. Okay.
I think that was happening right after he got some sweets, and he wrote that himself. But he just happened to, yeah,
Wow.
everything comes back
Joe,
to
you are.
cookies. Yeah, being a chubby man, you have these things that run in your head. You won't have that experience, but
Mhm.
I do. So I'm like, oh, that's something I would do.
You would self-shame yourself?
Oh, yeah, I have a
Uh,
terrible
uh,
problem solving. That's why I
okay.
fake like I'm super bigger than I am, because I have internal conflict. It's a little bit of therapy on this episode, but yeah, I have those moments where I'm like, oh,
You know what? I think we all suffer with a bit of self-shame
Mhm.
occasionally, especially when you're struggling with something that makes you self-conscious. I just don't think I'd go as far as to write on the mirror and just
I'm not
don't
on the
worry.
mirror, but on the lip.
I'm sure there's other things I've done. I don't know. I just
Yeah,
wouldn't write on the mirror. I'd write on something else, maybe a notebook.
maybe. Maybe.
And because of me, I'll just go back and look at the notebook. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
um.
But yeah,
So
that
I
was my
like your
theory.
cookie theory.
Yeah, it's cookies again.
Yes. So I was confusing Cinda's name with Kimber. I
Okay.
don't know why, but Kimber
Kimber is
is
not. She's way off now.
yeah. Well, I don't know.
Oh,
She has an alibi,
yeah.
but that doesn't mean she's telling the truth. And she also proposes another suspect. That there was a guy with Ben in his dressing room, um, who helped get the makeup off of him. But my only problem with this is whether it's true or not, whether she's lying or telling the truth. If your theory is correct that what he went through the first time wasn't poisoning, but a diabetic shock,
Hmm.
then all of this is irrelevant.
Yeah.
What happened in the theater doesn't even matter. They're just hoping to find the person who wants him dead and thinks this is going to be the way to do it.
Right.
Uh, but just because she didn't poison him doesn't mean Kimber didn't push him down the elevator shaft.
Right.
There's still no alibi for that. And that's the thing. Like we know where Charles was,
Hmm.
we know where Mabel was, and we know where Oliver was. So we know it's not our favorite three people.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they wouldn't do it anymore.
No, bloody Mabel. No, she
Yeah.
would never do such a
No,
thing.
never.
No, but but as far as everyone else, red herrings or not, I don't think anyone has a clear alibi yet.
Hmm.
So Kimber is not removed from my murder wall.
Oh,
She
interesting.
it's like all right, she may have been a red herring before, but now that she has an alibi, now she's back on the wall. If anything,
Nice.
it's like oh, your alibi does nothing for me.
Hmm.
All that tells me is that you didn't poison him. But Joe told me he wasn't poisoned, and I
Yeah.
believe Joe. So
Yeah.
I believe it was the cookies.
Yeah.
I'm with it. You've got me sold. There's
Yeah.
no poison.
Yeah.
It's the cookies'
It's the
fault.
cookies, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put money down on that. Joe has me
Imagine like,
believing that the cookies are what poisoned Ben. But but Kimber's still on the murder wall. She is a possible suspect for pushing him down. Um, she still doesn't have her hanky. She says that she sold it on eBay or
for money.
something.
Yeah. 'Cause
And that
she's
could be lies. That could
it could be.
be yeah.
Could
You
be.
know,
I
thank
mean,
you
they
for
could
your
easy
excuse,
yeah, you
but
could easily look back, right, on eBay. I thought I used to be really good at eBay years ago when I was a homeowner, but couldn't you, like, go in on eBay and look at old sales and see
maybe.
stuff? Maybe, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
they
I don't
should
know.
do
I
that.
was never involved in eBay, but
Oh,
if you could,
yeah,
then
that'd
that
be
would give them an easy track to go and look it up.
right.
Um, Especially if she has her Instagram following, then or a TikTok following,
Yeah,
then you would imagine you might even be able to see a previous post shared advertising, "Hey, I'm putting this up on eBay for anybody who wants." Um, yeah, I've seen you tweet out some comic. It's like, "Hey, I've got." You didn't just put it on eBay. It was just like, "Hey, just so you know, this is here."
yeah,
Shares it on social media. Like, if anybody wants it, there it is.
yeah, exactly.
Uh, so it's there's definitely research that could be done if that is what she did, you know.
Yeah,
Um it's just a matter of if our detectives, if our super sleuths go and look it up.
right.
Right. I did bring up Cinda Canning,
Mhm.
played by Tina Fey, with
Yes.
her brand new look. What do you think about the makeover, dude?
I love the makeover. It's very feng shui, very calm. I need that in my life. I love the calmality of it. I need more, you know, palette cleansing,
Yeah,
colors. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know what? I think will really help us all relax is that mud bath and little
Yeah.
kombucha and
Yeah, yeah. Clear out the system, you know?
yeah, yeah. Cinda knows where it's at. Uh,
Yeah.
but her whole makeover, Mabel doesn't buy it. They do end up meeting. She was texting Mabel the entire episode, and they finally agree to meet. I thought who we were going to see. I was not expecting Cinda, even though she was the voiceover in the beginning.
Mhm.
I thought the person texting her might have been uh, her. I want to say her ex from season one.
Oh.
Um, the one who had went to prison
Mhm.
and returned in her life. I thought maybe he would be returning in season three. As I'm trying to guess whose phone number it was, I didn't think we'd get the reveal this episode, and it was Cinda Canning, and they meet because now there's a new proposition: work for me,
Yeah.
work with me. Is like I don't think Cinda Canning is done as a star, but I think she sees the potential money in a Bloody Mabel series.
Right.
And Mabel turns it down, but she also doesn't have, like, she doesn't really have a job.
Right.
She doesn't have a job. She's about to get kicked out of her house, and her partners are very distracted with their own lives right now. And you know, they do some. Oliver's done no investigation.
Whatsoever.
I'm still waiting on his heart to continue being an issue. They have not brought it up since the first heart attack.
Well, you saw, like, in the when they had snacks, he brought out all those dips.
Yes,
So I'm wondering if he's still doing just the dips.
I'm hoping he's found some solid food in his life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
drink some water. You know,
Yeah.
have some protein, some fiber. Is he is refusing to acknowledge how old he is. Um, you got to take care of yourself,
Right.
Mister Short, Mister
Yes.
Putnam. Who does look great.
Yeah.
He does.
They both aged really well. I mean, Steve Martin always kinda looked older,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So he always had that look, but
he's
he
like Ric Flair.
yeah. Ric Flair didn't age again until he was 70. Like, he
Yeah,
went from, like, 40 to in his 60s to looking like he was 40.
yeah.
And then, once 70 hit, it was like, "Okay, stop." And I feel
The
like those 2 gentlemen have the same, like, miracle water or something. I don't know what it is.
something about these white-haired people.
Yeah.
Uh, 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 just having the white hair since you're 40, full head of white hair, and just rocking that for the
Yeah.
next phase of your life. Um, but Steve Martin's busy. Savage is busy with his life. Putnam's busy with his life. Mabel has nothing going on. We see her exploring a white room of her own as she
Mm,
goes to.
that's right.
Uh, she's looking for an apartment, and I don't see how any building is going to hold up to the Arconia.
Right. Especially in New York City, man, because oh, you want a room? Okay, well, I got good news for you. We have this glasses box, and there's enough space that you can fit right inside. It's like
Mhm.
tiny in New York. I mean, you live in New York City
Yeah.
or did or whatever.
Honestly, I thought her apartment was pretty big for New York.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, that's actually a good place. And how I'm like that. I don't know. I think you should take it, Mabel.
Yeah, just think about it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how she planned to afford it.
No, because like
Uh,
that type of space was probably like 5 grand a month or something.
yeah, like she's not looking like like Penny in Big Bang Theory. Like you're not even working at the Cheesecake Factory. What are you
Yeah.
doing? What are you doing? Like I don't understand how Penny could afford her apartment and with the Cheesecake Factory money either. But
Yeah.
that's a different show that I'm not willing to talk about. I'm
Right.
here for this.
Exactly.
But,
But it's
um,
just the same formula. It's like, "How are you?" And, like, I know her
yeah.
aunt, like, owned that apartment, so she was living there, but now her aunt sold it, so
Yeah. It's like, do you have like some money of your own? Were you gifted anything?
I'm telling she probably was.
There's still a lot that we don't know about Mabel,
It's
and
true.
I'm sure we'll find out eventually. What her whole deal is. But right now, I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Um, the do you think that she should take up the job with Cinda Canning?
Yeah, I think so, for the
Mhm.
income, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
Um, But I also think that she needs to have a real conversation with her old buddies, not for lack of trying. She's definitely tried to be around them and they haven't made themselves available, but
Yeah.
she hasn't necessarily been open with them about what's going on. And it's I don't think any of them have really. I don't see Oliver. Well, Oliver
Charles.
and Charles did have at least a little drink together and talking about their own relationships. At least they had that moment of
Yeah.
those two together.
And you see Oliver's kinda going off into the tangent of he can maybe get, Meryl Streep.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't know about that, you know?
Well, no, I look, I see the romance there. I see it as a real possibility. Whether it actually lands or not,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I see it as a possibility.
Okay.
Just as Charles's romance is, I mean, it's already happening, but uh what will happen now? The last time he went into the White Room, he everybody stumbled upon him proposing to Joy.
Right.
So he while Oliver's moving too slow, maybe
Mm,
uh, for cautious reasons that I understand. Charles is moving too fast,
right.
but at least they're able as men to share a drink and have this conversation together. Mabel has no one to talk to,
Yeah.
and it's
Maybe
leading her to people like Cinda and Tobbert.
right. Maybe that's why it really works out for her to work for Cinda.
Hmm. We'll see how that goes. Let us know in the comments whether you think Mabel should take up Cinda's offer, because that's going to be a key element in of the story. We are 4 episodes in.
Yeah.
There is still much to figure out. There's still a lot of the cast to explore. When talking about the White Room, we actually got to hear Bobo speak for a change.
Yeah.
But he still hasn't given me anything to let me think he's a murderer.
No.
Um, we do know his penis is online. Uh,
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. I am also pleased because I had saw a report saying that it looks like, even though it's not official yet, there could be a season 4.
Yeah.
If the option, if Hulu wants to continue this relationship, if the actors are down, if everyone if the audience is still down for the ride, it looks like the show can continue because the showrunner is you know he's down. He wants
Yeah.
to keep doing it.
I hope they
Um,
do.
I hope they do too.
Yeah, because then we can come back next year and do this all over again.
Yeah, and then we can talk about, among the many things, Mabel's big grandma energy,
Yeah.
which was another thing. Yeah, so much funny stuff happened in this episode. He's like, what was it? Oliver and Charles are saying that she gives off 75. She is like, you don't give young woman. You're like a 75-year-old at heart.
Yeah.
And her big sweaters are a big part of the reason why.
Right, right. And that was the
Yeah.
funny is she got the key because of the sweater. And
Yeah,
that's how they
yeah.
got into there, finding out that Kimber was living basically or working out of the theater, which I thought was hilarious as well.
Also, I don't talk about him much. He's not exactly my favorite character, but
Mm.
shout out to, I think his name is Howard, for these constant State Farm
Yeah.
just,
Name drop. Yes. Man, I thought I was a bad name dropper, but
oh
Howard,
my
like, oh,
god.
you should get in State Farm. It's like, wait, what? And it kind of throws me every time he does it. It's like it fits, but at the same time, it's like, wait, huh? It's
Like,
like
I know what you're doing.
right.
I know I know this is product placement. I
Yeah.
understand that. It still manages to be funny because the writers on this show, everyone's a genius as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Right.
But I know what you're doing. You don't fool me.
Yeah.
Unless Howard's the murderer. You should have got the insurance.
I told you. I told you. You would have been covered for this.
Oh man. All right. I believe that covers everything from the White Room. Let us know if you've ever had a White Room experience in your own life. Why does
Ooh.
this have to be just for the stage? Let us know if you've just blacked out and went crazy. And yeah, share it. We promise we won't share it with anybody. You're safe.
It'll be safe in the comments.
Yeah, in the comment section where no one will find it.
Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah. We're all good. Don't worry.
There's a lot to look forward to. I'm excited for episode 5 and always excited to talk to my buddy Joe. So yeah, let us know in the comments. And I think it's time to turn these lights off.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Check out SpectrumSanctorum.net for all of our podcast merch. We have an entire merch store ready to give you all the things that you loved about our podcast. And get notified on all of our socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and our Spectrum Sanctorum merch store. Follow us today and be sure to hit that bell when you're watching our YouTube videos so you can be notified of when a new episode